Hi, I'm so excited to be talking to you. I'm Susan Thomas from MEX-PRE. I live in Guadalajara, Mexico, and this is Dr. Bessie Babits. And I'm so excited to talk to her this afternoon. And she's such an interesting person. She's a vet. She's an owner, breeder, writer, classicist. So you wear so many hats. So I'll just pass the baton to you and let you introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you so much, Susan. It's a privilege to speak with you today, and thank you for doing this. So I don't have a whole lot to add. I wear a lot, like you said, a lot of different hats, and they all sort of work together to benefit horses and riders. And that's sort of my main goal and mission in life.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's just such a wonderful tool to have that extra tool of you being a vet because it lets, a lot of
It
times.
is.
Yeah, a lot of times, we kind of get stuck where things, we think they're a training issue and they're not necessarily a training issue, maybe a pain or tack or an issue like that. So that is really neat. Well, I kind of met you through the Willow Creek Stallions. And how many stallions do you have available now for breeding?
Oh, let me see. I have to count. Well, I just let me think a minute. So I have.
Of
Let me just go
horses.
through them. So we'll start. So I have Contreras, 9-year-old PRE stallion, Sevillano, Ritmo de Sucieta, Bacchus, Universal, Jocoso, and then I have some youngsters up and coming. I have a Hudio 7 son who's up and coming, and I have a Doblon son up and coming. He just turned 2. The Hudio 7 son will turn 3. And they're not advertising for stud yet, but so I have a fairly large array of stallions available and encompassing specific bloodlines that I particularly like,
Mhm.
particularly those, and most of the horses have the elite bloodlines that I was looking for.
Yeah. Interesting. So you've pretty much got, you know, a whole gamut to choose from. Do you usually,
Absolutely.
yeah. So would someone that would be interested in one of your stallions, could they reach out to you through willowcreekstallions.com or
Yes, yes, definitely. That's a great way to reach me. My email and phone number is on the Willow Creek Stallion website. And the horses, Jocoso, Ritmo, Universal, Bacchus, and Contreras are all on the website.
okay.
I have another horse on the website who I unfortunately lost in the spring, Arioso. But yes, if someone is interested, they can just contact me via the website or email or phone.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm sure the also the fact of you being a vet, you can also, help them perhaps, if you can't decide between, a couple of the stallions, ask you kind of which one you would recommend after seeing their mare or, see what would be a good combination.
Definitely. And that's a really good point to bring up. It's interesting because, as you mentioned earlier, I became a veterinarian with a very specific reason in mind. And from a child, I was riding horses, training horses, and I started colts for people when I was 13. And I always wanted to know when a behavioral issue would come up. Is this pain related or is this behavior? And 9 times out of 10, any type of behavioral issue is generally rooted in discomfort or pain. So that is actually why I decided to go to vet school, to become a better, more knowledgeable horse owner, trainer, and be able to more objectively assess a horse that is in pain. And that has really followed suit. And as well with breeding, if someone has a question, we can go over with videos and pictures of their mare and look and see and compare what attributes my stallions might give, or certain stallions might improve upon their mare, and vice versa. So it is of great benefit, and I'm very willing to help people make choices with that knowledge.
Yeah, and also too, since you know all the bloodlines and whatever,
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's a,
It's my fun research.
yeah,
My off time, I research bloodlines.
it's very interesting, but the longer I do this, the horses that I really like tend to have the same stallions in the background. Don't you
Yes.
find
Yes.
that?
I find that
Interesting.
absolutely to be true. And I'll see a horse I like. Ooh, who is this horse by? And I immediately go and look at bloodlines, and almost invariably they have a similar
They
flow of
have a
bloodlines.
similar, yeah, that's very interesting. Well, I wanted
Mhm.
to talk to you about your newest endeavor, Sangre de Reyes Riding Academy. Tell us a little bit
Mhm.
about that.
Oh, thank you. Well, this has been a dream of mine for a long time. And both as a veterinarian and as a diligent horsewoman, I have always wanted to help as many people and as many horses as I can. And I've had this idea of an academy for a long time. So I finally was in its entirety time was almost impossible. So anyway, I finally been able to find a good balance and be able to launch it. So we offer many different programs, both live and online. On our live sessions, COVID dependent, we take horses in for training. You can bring your horse to us for training. You can come for a custom package, or for certain days that you want, we can do lessons with your horse. I do offer some lessons on my horses. And the Academy also has a significant online presence now, which is growing. And I'm not a very technologically based person. I prefer to be out in the dust and the sun and with horse sweat than working with computers and programs. But I have had a great person helping me establish this online center, and she and I have collaborated and been able to do this. So I think what it does is it allows more people to have access to where they don't have to drive somewhere, they don't have to get in there, get on a plane and fly somewhere. They can have direct access to information and knowledge, and I work with them directly. But we have the common link of being able to do it through video.
Yeah, I think this is just a wonderful resource. You're a little bit frozen now. I want to apologize for my internet connection. Don't know what's going on, but I can hear you
That's
perfectly
okay.
well. So we'll kind of keep our fingers crossed. But I think that's just a wonderful resource for, say, a person like me, out in Guadalajara, Mexico, out in, Timbuktu or whatever,
Hmm.
that everybody has a phone that has a video. They can just video, uh, you know, have somebody video them riding their horse if they're having a training issue. And I really agree with you. This has taken me years and years and years and years to figure out. But so many times when I kind of, come to a wall and there's a block, they're usually, it's not a training issue, it's usually some sort of a pain issue or maybe a tack
Yes.
issue, poor saddle fit,
Yes.
the bit is bothering them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you have, there's a whole nother, you're so much more able to help them, not just the training part, but if there is, maybe a physical or attack issue, you'll be
Yes.
able to figure it like that, because you can lose a lot of time and a lot of frustration and da 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 before you finally, the bell goes ding 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 ding, I need to call my vet. So I think that's wonderful. So it's just
That's a
it's
really
just
good
open
point.
to anybody. Yeah.
Mhm. It does, and I want. I mean, I've been a veterinarian for going on 16 years, an equine only veterinarian. So I can't help but when I look at horses, whether I'm just looking at horses I like or whether I'm working with students, I can't help but notice lamenesses, or where there's a resistance in the body, where it might be coming from. So I like to delve into that a little bit because it helps the rider, helps the horse, saves time. And I've been in the same shoes. I've had stumbling blocks with my own horses, and I'm a little always in denial with my own horses. Trying to treat your own is a little different.
Yeah.
but I will hit a block and go, oh, wait a minute. And sure enough, I do flexions, or I look at the horse move and there's a problem. And so I definitely bring that to the table in terms of trying to work through problems and resistances through a veterinarian's
Yeah.
eyes as well.
And also too, maybe if there is, some sort of a physical issue, the fact that you're a vet, you'll have more insights and maybe kind of know how to live with it or go around it,
Yes, exactly.
with it, whatever. Then, oh, let's just ride through this, which never works.
Right.
Yeah. So I am so interested in your virtual classicist program. So again, this is just available to pretty much anyone in the world with an internet connection, correct?
It is. It is indeed. And it's the latest venture. It's just fledgling. So a lot more is going to be added. You don't have to be a member of the Academy to utilize some of the resources. We have a growing online video library, and that consists of, I have some playlists on there that I feel are important and good to watch. Some are on stallion bloodlines, and there will be health topics. I'm really into equine podiatry and foot care, so I will be putting up some foot things on there. Some are videos of myself riding and critiquing myself riding. So the online video library is a growing presence. And then I also have courses that I'm working on. So I have 2 up right now. One is an introduction to work in hand, because I'm very passionate about working horses in hand and working them in long lines. And the other course is on the Spanish walk, which it's fun, and it's also a very useful exercise and help building shoulder strength and putting weight to the hind end. So those are the 2 right now, and I actually have 5 more I've just finished the text on. So if you actually take a course, you will have a manual of information that's written, and then I have videos posted, so you also have access to all the videos of how to do what we're talking about. And the courses range in length from 2 weeks to 6 weeks. I have a couple of courses that are broken up into 2 4-week sections, because there's just so much information. And it's not so much that you do all of the work prescribed every week. It's a way, because it's impossible, but it's a way to give people a means of a method to go forward with their horses that's sort of kind of in a scheduled way. It's very progressive. And I am not a method person. I don't believe in methods with horses. I believe we stick to principles, but we are very flexible with our methods. So this is attempting to give people different avenues that they can work their horses. And it's not intended for Iberian horses, for dressage horses in particular. It's meant to help anybody become better with their horse and establish a better relationship with their horse.
Yeah, because I find basically, the principles are the same. The nuances maybe are just, a little different, but,
Yes.
the principles are always the same, and it's going to work, for a pony or a Morgan or a paint or whatever you have, or a fancy warm blood or, because the principles are the principles.
Very, very true. And I have a very different take on the classical principles, just simplified them and have kind of come up with a different thing, which actually I talk about in each of the courses, because the courses follow those principles, and then the techniques and methods are added into that. And I try to give varying techniques for problem solving, troubleshooting, that type of thing. We talk about safety, we talk about tack, things that will make the work easier for both you and the horse.
Yes. Well, that's so exciting. So I really appreciate your time, and I'm going to put all that information into this video. And so people can just reach out to you either for the studs or for the Sangre de Reyes Riding Academy, the virtual classicist, or anything that they might need.
Oh, thank you so much, Susan. It's an honor to speak with you, and I so appreciate this time you've taken today to do so.
Thank you. And I hope that we do this more often, as you as things change and progress, and you know, put new products out and whatever, we just need to chat more often. And again, one thing that we have chatted a little bit, and I think anybody who's really into horses understands the importance of hoof care, podiatry, and all that. And I think that so many of us are so lacking in that area, and our farriers and even our vets are lacking. And I would just love for you to do, you know, to do something on that, maybe kind of explaining to the layman a little bit about hoof care and kind of what we're looking for.
Oh, I would be thrilled. That is a topic that fires me up. I am so passionate about it, and I would love to share with people some of my experiences and knowledge. It would be fantastic.
Because it just seems like it's something that, you know, worldwide people are struggling with. And I really feel that, you know, farriers just honestly don't get the education that they really need to have. This is pretty much that anybody can, you know, get a hammer and a nail and put the shoe on the horse, and they're a farrier. And we've just seen so many horrible results of that. And I feel like if we get the education out there and the owners have a basic education, you know, we can kind of stop that before it starts.
I agree with you 100%, and that is something that's very dear to my heart. I would very much enjoy talking more about that. The veterinarians, I do my own hoof care and hoof work, and veterinarians and farriers have to learn to work together.
Yes.
But the basis of the whole problem is that the hoof is where unsoundness can so easily begin and then transcend up the limb, especially when we're asking our horses to work hard. So just a simple view of anatomy and physiology of the hoof, and a little bit of physics 101, and you really can think through so many of these hoof issues and problems and prevent them from occurring.
Yeah. So that will be our next topic.
Oh, I'm so excited for this.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and thank everyone for joining us. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's see. Okay, so now I have to turn this thing off.